All right. Welcome in, everybody, to Pro Football Enterprises. I am Ben Parker, joined by Austin Freed. We have done several team mock drafts this offseason. Some of them were full 7 rounds. Most of them have fallen kind of into the 4 round category. That is basically what tonight will be as well. If you're new to how we do it, we pick one of us to be acting general manager for the team for the evening. Tonight, that'll be Austin, acting GM for the Dallas Cowboys tonight. The other guy or guys, depending on who's on the show that night, will kind of be consultants. So we'll be putting out our opinion. We'll try to put out one clear guy that we really would like to go after. But if there's a second, third guy that's also nip tuck close in the mix, we'll trot that out as well. But ultimately, the acting general manager, which will be Austin tonight, will make the final decision on that, and we'll move forward based on that. So. Having said that, we've actually already started the draft here. This is the PFF simulator. I won't run through all the picks, but Mendoza goes first, of course. You can see it all through there. The guys that have been picked all the way down to the Cowboys spot at number 12. Over here on the big board, you can see who's still available right here for the Cowboys to pick or even explore trades if you want to. Austin, go ahead and lay out kind of what you would hope to accomplish tonight. I know it doesn't always work out, but in an ideal world, what you would hope to hit.
Yeah, I'm hoping to hit defense as a whole here. This defense is absolutely the biggest need for this team, anywhere from the secondary to the linebacking core to the defensive interior. I don't think there is a position I am not looking to somewhat either improve or solidify on this defense. And then we only have George Pickens for on the 1 year contract with the franchise tag right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate adding another receiver to secure up the future of the receiving core and just have a third weapon on the outside for Prescott. But mainly that, and then this is a really a poor running back class, and Jeremiah Love's already gone. But we have Javonte Williams signed to a 3 year extension. I would love to add a depth running back to pair with him, but I'm probably not looking for that unless one of the guys I really like falls to like the fourth or something.
All right. And very quickly, we've got our marching orders here from Austin. The picks that we have tonight for the Cowboys, that's 12, that's 20. A lot of flex right there from 12 to 20. If we don't, a lot of room to work, but then it's a big drop off to 92. We'll also do pick 112 tonight as well. All right. So with Austin's marching orders in mind here, I'll go ahead and hit the obvious one, I think, and that's Mansour Delane, defensive player sitting at the top of this board. I think that's the guy I would want to go with here for the Cowboys. Jermod McCoy would be fine. I kind of, sort of, if I'm Dallas, would like to get away from. Uh, he's not the same as the guys they've had, not at all. I think he's better, but still, I think I would want a more balanced cornerback than the guys they've had, and Mansour Delane would fit that for me. So I would like that. You mentioned wide receiver. I wouldn't mind adding Mekhi Lemon in right here as well. That wouldn't hurt my feelings at all if you decided to go that route. And then just exploring on down here a little bit. Um, there's other guys I really do like here. Okay, I really honestly do, but I think I'm gonna stick with those two as far as my personal recommendations. Delane first, and then either Lemon or maybe McCoy after that. So, Austin, back to you to give your thoughts and make the pick.
Yeah, I think it has to be Mansour Delane here, but I'm not ready to pull the trigger on that yet. My thought
Okay.
process is this. I would rather have like an elite nickel than an elite outside for Dallas specifically. I think nickel is the more pressing need. But I mean, come on, Mansour Delane is there. A nickel is maybe a little bit easier and cheaper to find other ways. And as I've said a million times, and I will never not say, you cannot have too many good corners on your football team. Name me one team that's like, dang it, I have too many good cornerbacks. I wish I didn't draft this good cornerback because I already had so many good cornerbacks. No
Right.
team has ever once said that. So for that reason, I'm leaning Delane, unless. See, I do like some of these interior guys to fall later, but bird in the hand kind of thing. Linebacker is another position that I would love to improve upon. And I don't really love going any of them this early, to be honest. I'm not a big enough fan of like Peter Woods to take him this early yet. Yeah, let's just go to Lane here and not waste time to just come back to Lane like I would anyways.
All right, I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna hit the pick, and we'll talk. I'll talk while we're waiting for the computer to hit us up for the 20th pick here. I'll kind of show the audience what's happening. Mansour Delane right there. So it's an interesting thing. A point you made there. Um, Lots of defensive problems here, and yeah, you could go nickel. We could even still go nickel if we wanted to. Um, so I like what we're doing here though, picking Mansour Delane. I really think that brings a lot of balance to the cornerback room. And you know, you mentioned this several times before. I heard you mention it on your show a couple of days ago. You really can't have too many good cover guys. And we've seen teams succeed who didn't have good cover guys across the board. Usually that's because they could really compress the clock with guys getting to the quarterback. But like you said, nobody's ever decided, hey, man, we got too many good cover guys around here. We need to trade one or two. You know, that's just never happened. If you know you've got five defensive backs that need to start. If one of them's a great cover guy, you just convert him into some kind of a safety, whether he's free or box, whatever his skill set would translate into, you know, and you roll with it. So I agree with you there about the cornerback thing. Okay. We've still got Austin's marching orders in mind. Jordan Tyson coming in here at wide receiver. I think it's possible. I didn't really expect him to be sitting here at 20. Wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. I would like that. I think safety is a real major area of need for the Cowboys. So dropping Emmanuel McNeil Warren in here on top of Mansour Delane would excite me for future years. Maybe not necessarily this year, but for future years for sure. You mentioned nickel. I think I prefer Avion Terrell in the nickel. Other people still like him outside. It's fine. But I think for me it would be Jordan Tyson or McNeil Warren, and that'll be my two recommendations here.
Yeah, Avian Terrell is my number one, like just pure nickel in this class. I don't think he's the best corner in this class, but I do love him at nickel, so that absolutely is a thought. And if we hadn't gone corner, uh, the 12th pick, that I think I would have jumped all over that. But I want to look somewhere else and not double up in the secondary. Well, double up at corner. I don't hate the McNeil Warren pick either. I would definitely be uh available to that. That'll be definitely something I'm considering here. Can I see the edge players?
Absolutely. Here they come. Edges. PFF edges.
Um, so the highest on my board here would be Zion Young. Don't love going him this early. I'm not super big on Howell. Parker's right around there for me too. Yeah, and then the interior guys, I think Peter Woods is still available.
Yep. Still sitting there.
Yeah, he's my highest, but this is about where I would be considering him as well. Um, Gosh, it's hard to pass on Jordan Tyson though. I said receiver, adding another receiver will be good. He's, coming off that injury and wouldn't necessarily be needed right away as well. CJ Allen's a fine pick. I have him as a potential first round draft pick at linebacker. It's absolutely in the cards too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think we go Jordan Tyson here for the sake of it being a mock draft. I want to see what we can get with this third and fourth round picks if we take Tyson here and take the fun guy.
That is the fun of the simulators, right? And literally NFL teams do this. You run the simulations 1,000 times or 5,000 times, and you see what's most likely to be sitting there. We're doing,
Hmm.
you know, we've done hundreds of these off air. We've done, probably 20 of them on air, right? But you do start to get a feel for what's likely to actually be sitting there later if we pick this here. So Jordan Tyson, I think, gives you either a third great offensive weapon, or if the Pickens stuff can't work out, maybe you could trade him, get some future picks, and you still have two good wide receivers here. So Jordan Tyson's come on board. Our next pick doesn't happen until number 92. So here it is. Let's see what players went off the board right before we picked. Hecht, Hill, Slaughter,
Mm.
Overton, Everett. All right. Let me do a little position shopping here. Let me start with linebacker, see if there's any linebackers left. Okay, so I like Betcher, York, Lawson. Elarms Orr has the speed I like. Fisher's got, I like, I, I'm not excited by them though. So let me see what else is sitting here. We didn't actually touch safety yet, did the, okay.
Mm-mm.
Genesis Smith, I love his range. I think he can go all over the freaking place. I think his tackling is dreadful, though. Some of the worst tackling I've ever seen from a safety. So kind of pick your poison. Zakee Wheatley, I think his tackling is fantastic. Goodness gracious. I've seen him go way deep into the box, take on blocks, make tackles at the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, but I don't think his coverage ability is great. In fact, he's the guy that Omar Cooper made the great catch off of in the back of the end zone, the Indiana Penn State game back in 25. But even so, Wheatley's coverage isn't great. Bud Clark to me is a guy who I think that's a starting level NFL safety who looks to make plays, but I'm not sure he's an elite athlete like some of these other guys. And then Michael Taft from Texas, I think, is fairly good as well. I'm liking the safety pool here. So I think I'm going to recommend one of the safeties. I think I'll leave it at that. And I'll let you kind of take it over from there. So
Yeah, can I see the edge rushers, please?
let's see what's sitting at edge rusher at 92. Okay.
Pull up my edge rushers here. All right. Barham from Michigan's my highest guy on the board still, but not necessarily high on my board. Um, yeah, show me the interior guys.
While I'm doing that, I will say I love Barham's intensity and hit you in the face. I would love to see him land on the Miami Dolphins. I think they could use a lot of that, but I'm with you.
Yep.
Maybe not here for Dallas. You said the interior.
Yeah, defensive interior, please.
All right.
Cross-referencing. Ooh, Xavier Harris out of Ole Miss is an interesting player. He is one of these like,
Yeah, I wanted the audience to see this, but yes.
yeah, just absolute like massive human being. One of the largest men in the entire draft class.
The 330 sounds a little light, actually, right?
He looks way bigger than that. And the 6'8" is maybe underselling it too. I don't know what. Um, yeah, he's just an absolute behemoth of a man. 92 is a little bit early, a little rich for that for me, but like
Okay.
that's a guy I wouldn't hate to like just have just so we can walk off the bus, you know?
And I tell you, we've
Um,
got pick 112 coming up, so maybe we'll
yeah,
keep that in the back of our minds here.
yeah,
Okay.
that would be maybe a fun 112 guy just to grab for the fun of it.
Okay.
Yeah, bring those safeties back up. I think the safeties here were the sort of cream of the crop that I was looking at. Genesis Smith is a guy that I'm a big fan of.
Okay.
Him and Stukes out of Arizona. I really like
Right.
both those guys. The way they both played uh, all year, I thought was really fun. And
Yeah.
and he's the highest safety I have on the board at this time. We've already addressed corner, so yeah, let's take Genesis Smith the safety.
And I love the range here. If Mansour Delane delivers the goods, right? and we're able to drop Genesis Smith here with that range over the top. I think that's a great combo here. So Genesis Smith is the pick. All right. Let me start sorting. I'm going to do a little position shopping here before I make my recommendations.
Yeah, why not?
Um, I'll avoid the offense for now. Let's look at corner. Big corner, Takario Davis. Kilgore, I'm a decent, and Prysock's a big guy as well, but I don't necessarily know that that's where I want to go. I'll skip safety since we just did that. Xavier Harris sitting right there. So we talked about that. I'm going to hold that in reserve for a second. At edge, Max Llewellyn is a very strong edge, but I didn't see a lot of stressing the quarterback. I just saw a real strong man sitting out there at edge. So I'm going to hold off on him at this level here. Linebacker, I tell you, it's a good group of linebackers sitting here. Betcher, York, Elarms, or Aiden Fisher. I mentioned that before. Give me a real quick second here. When's our next pick? It's at 152. I tell you what, in my head, if I'm looking ahead, I'm thinking probably two of these guys are probably still sitting here at 152. So I would run the risk, maybe pick a linebacker at 152, and then that leaves us. I think that's it. Okay, so I think my pick is going to be what we shadowed before. We pre-shadowed before. Xavier Harris here out of Ole Miss, just a huge guy. It's kind of funny watching the film on him, watching him push around guys that are very good and pretty big themselves, but he is just so massive. They even for kicks, Ole Miss bumped him out to edge a few times just to get the size advantage on some of those guys. Real fun to watch. But I think that's my pick here with the idea in mind. We can catch hopefully a shot at two linebackers we like at pick 152. All right, back to you.
Yeah, Kilgore was a name that popped up in the corners. He's a guy I like a lot, who I think is a really good nickel. Um, so that would be an interesting pick, but I don't really want to triple down on the secondary
Okay.
here. I would love to grab one of those linebackers, but especially Botcher, Betcher.
Okay.
But as you mentioned, if you're kind of playing the draft game, I do like York a lot as well. And is he going to be available at that next pick? And I don't hate Fisher as like our consolation prize. If I can't get Betcher or York, Fisher's not that much lower than those two guys for me and my board. So I kind of don't mind playing the draft game here. And we already talked about the defensive interior guy, and just going and grabbing just beef up the middle,
Right.
in every sense of the word with Xavier Harris. He's a guy who I think is just going to be very team dependent. If your team can like clear him medically and has no problem on him being this sort of enigma athletically, I don't mind that pick. And yeah, let's do it. It's a fun pick. Going Xavier Harris out of Ole Miss.
And I'll hit that button here in just a second. I will say, looking at these four linebackers, if there was a guy here that I felt strongly about, I was like, no, my gosh, he's absolutely on my covet list for this round, this area. I would bang the table and I wouldn't run any risk of catching him or a guy like him later. But I've got four guys here that I like what they do. I would have my preferences. That's why I'm willing to gamble with that. Plus, I've got this other huge guy over here at defensive tackle that I'm wanting to grab because I know he won't be there at 152. So let's go ahead and make that pick here, and then we'll just see what's sitting there at 152. We won't actually make a pick. Let's see what's sitting there at linebacker once we get there. I already see Tari and York. Let's see if any of the
Yeah.
other guys are still there. All right, so three of the guys are sitting there. So we won't make the pick, but are you happy with our little gamble here?
Yeah, York or Fisher. I'm not the biggest war guy,
Okay.
but yeah, either of those two guys being there, I'm super happy with. I can grab one of those here.
Okay. All right. Well, let's remind everybody what we did here. We picked up Mansour Delane, corner at 12. We picked up Jordan Tyson at 20. I'm super happy with those two guys.
Hmm.
I'm not criticizing anybody who lets Tyson slip here, But for our needs and for what we would like to add on here, I'm thrilled that we picked up Delane and Tyson. And Genesis Smith range at 92, I'm thrilled with. And Xavier Harris's massive size at 112, I like. And then the fact that we gambled a little bit and we get to sit here at 152 and have our pick of three linebackers, two of which you like, I feel really satisfied with as well. So your final thoughts here on what we did tonight?
No, it's great. I'm with you. I think we really hit it out of the park in the first round, and it would be
Yeah,
hard to mess up a draft after those two guys.
right.
So just look at in kind of positions of need and grab the top guys on your board who kind of fit your scheme, and that's what I feel like what we did here with Smith and Harris.
All right. Well, it's always fun. If you're in the audience and you saw another guy that we passed on, obviously for every 5,000 people that do this, there's going to be 5,000 different opinions, and those opinions would change from week to week, probably producing another 6,000 opinions. So, if there's a guy that you're high on, you're like, hey, I think that would be perfect for Dallas, throw that in the comments for everybody to see as part of additional conversation here. All right. Austin, we've really enjoyed it. Everybody, thank you for watching. We'll have more of this stuff coming out up until about a week before the draft. So, thank you. Have a great one. Bye.